What's up, everybody, and welcome to the playoff edition of the Swolecast. I'm David Kitchen, joined by Mr. Tuttle 05, and joined by two guys that have been supporting me throughout my journey to lose some weight, Mattek and Peter Overzet. Guys, are you ready for some playoff slates?
I'm loving it, Dave.
I'm pretty pumped. Yeah,
it's going to be good. My focus right now, I've been grinding these underdog playoff basketball tournaments, of which I am an investor, full disclosure. But I am excited to talk about the DFS slates as well, Dave.
Yeah, for sure. For those that are like, oh, Kitchen's got a lot of extra energy. Listen, that's what a healthy diet and a regular exercise routine that features cardio does for you. So appreciate all the love that I got on Twitter. My love language is words of affirmation. So all the gathering of positivity on Twitter, really appreciate that. And Peter, I appreciate your gift as well.
Yeah. So, people know that we had a swap in the underdog best ball mania of full disclosure. I am an investor there. And I owed Kitchen a $37.50 valued gift. And I did cash that in on a Dairy Queen Blizzard that was delivered to Dave's house about a half hour ago. What was the look on your face when you opened the door, Dave?
Well, see, I was expecting Davis's fried chicken delivery. And so when I saw your tweet, I'm like, I better go down there because my wife is like doing a webinar for work, like leading the webinar. And there's just a guy standing at the door. I have no idea how long he was there for, but he's like, this is for Peter, and gave it to me. And I'm like, it was a huge cake, like no writing on it or anything, just one big ice cream cake. And then I look at it and it's an Oreo Blizzard cake from Dairy Queen.
Have you ever had one of those?
Buddy, I have. And they are delicious. My birthday is coming up in a week. So if I can find some room in the freezer for this bad boy, I might just hold off on that. And then Davis, you got me Zaxby's. What was your thinking behind Zaxby's? Just the only fried chicken that you could find?
No, there was Bojangles. There was no Popeyes though. I was hoping to order you 3 spicy chicken sandwiches to see if you could wolf them all down in the show. But then when I got onto Zaxby's, I was like, oh, Kitchen has kids. Obviously, and kids love chicken nuggets. Like that's like the kids' number one food. So I was like, yeah, I'll just I'll hook all right, Kitchen's kids up with some chicken fingers.
So what did you get for me? What is this? What's the kids and what's mine?
Well, it's all for you, bud. Whatever you want. They can have whatever's left over. I think you have 2 sandwiches, 2 Cokes, and then 10 chicken fingers.
Yeah, just full disclosure. I want to be healthy, so Coke Zero.
Come on, dude.
I don't have to, Davis. No, the spirit was not you. The spirit was eating a piece of fried chicken on the show, and then you order $40 worth of food.
I tried to get him to get you peg leg porker, Dave, but I guess he couldn't afford that out there.
My favorite around here is it's not bad. It's not.
Zaxby's is good, dude. Zaxby's is like B+ fast food chicken.
Never had it.
There's a place called Slim Chickens, and it is amazing.
I asked you if you had a preference, and you said
know I didn't even
not.
think about it. Like I was thinking of fried chicken with bone in. This is not really fried chicken to me.
Well,
like being down south.
I tried to do Hattie B's, but they do not deliver.
These are fried chicken tenders. So
you got a sandwich in there too, I think, and some fries. Obviously, don't forget the fries, Dave.
Fries are part of the keto, man.
This is my first meal of the day, so I appreciate it, Davis. All right, let's get Peter Overzet's overview.
I think it's a really interesting playoff picture.
We get 3 playoff games each day. Like, that's nice coming from 2 playoff games.
Yeah, 3 playoff games in this economy.
COVID to worry about.
And there's also lots of motivation issues, I think. I mean, which teams are motivated to win this week is something I'm really paying attention to.
Yeah.
I've been hawking the news. We might get a John Wolford playoff game this week, which I think would be incredibly exciting. I'm keeping tabs on the Washington football team, guys. Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin a little banged up here. We need to make sure they're a full go.
Heineke and GPP. Is that what you're talking about?
Who?
Heineke?
The most recent report on
Taylor Heineke.
The most recent report on the Washington football team situation is that they are considering platooning Alex Smith and Taylor Heineke. And the thing that I thought of was like, who takes which part of the platoon? Like, is Heineke like the short yardage quarterback? Like, or like, I don't know, like which one of them is supposed to be better at what part? But the Saturday slate is like not straightforward, but we're not really sweating that much. I mean, we're trying to figure out who is starting for the Los Angeles Rams, but no injuries for the Seahawks, no injuries for Indianapolis. We're still trying to figure out if our boy super cool Cole Beasley is going to be healthy for this game. But the Sunday slate is a nightmare. So on Sunday, this is what we have to deal with. Baltimore, Tennessee is fine. But then for Chicago, is that not true, Dave?
It might not be fine.
Why is
it might not be fine. Tennessee Titans trainer has been tested positive for COVID per Adam Schefter. So they're now doing contact tracing.
Spoke too soon there. So that makes this even more of a nightmare because we have the New Orleans running back situation where Alvin Kamara is technically eligible to come off, but he has to register enough negative tests. And then there was a photo circulating this last weekend of Kamara like going out to the club on Friday night. So that seems not great for him coming back from the COVID list. We have Dwayne Washington on the COVID list. We have Latavius Murray on the COVID list. Michael Thomas has yet to be activated from the short-term IR. Then we have the Cleveland Browns quagmire, right? They don't have Stefanski. I believe Kadero Hodge is on the COVID-19 list, but Schefter and those guys have not yet reported, like, well, are they doing contact tracing for the other wide receivers again? Like, so the Sunday slate is pretty up in the air as of Wednesday afternoon.
I also just feel obligated to point out that people have stormed the Capitol building and they dispersed tear gas inside. I don't know if it's the Senate or the House, and they're telling members to put on gas masks under their seats. If you're wondering what's going on in America right now.
But Kitchen is crushing the fried chicken.
Well, someone had replied on Twitter, somehow Dave eating all this food is not the most ridiculous thing in our nation right now. And I was like, oh, what's going on? I was like, oh,
you had no clue that stuff was going on?
Did you know that tear gas had just been dispersed in there? That was
not in the building, but outside.
4 minutes ago.
But outside of the building, yeah.
Has big implications on the Washington football team.
Yes, how are they going to? A very emotional game for the Washington football team this week.
Tuttle, you're awful quiet. What are your initial thoughts on just these two slates?
Great couple of slates. Just excited to be here. Great couple of slates. That's about it.
Are you excited to be here?
Trying to figure out the Manchester United showdown. Still, that starts in 5 minutes, but other than that, we're good to go.
All right, we'll bother you in 6 minutes then. Davis,
cool.
Thank you for this. I can't
give
eat
me a
all
review.
of this.
Oh, you can eat more than you've eaten, though, I think.
No, I just ate like 3 or 4 tenders. Davis, here's some free advice, okay?
Yeah.
Because I know you're trying to get healthier too. But just because it's on the plate doesn't mean you have to eat all of it. Or just because there's 12 cookies doesn't mean you have to eat all 12 cookies.
I haven't eaten a cookie since November.
Dude, Kitchen, Davis sends me a text, like basically after every meal, #clean plate club. And I'm like, Davis, I don't care.
That's so funny because that's actually what we do with our big dog. She like doesn't always finish her food. So when she finishes it, she gets an extra treat for being in the clean plate club.
Speaking of big dog,
Peter,
he ate his food last week.
Peter, how amazing was it playing cash, rostering the big dog? Because this was basically my past 2 years.
It felt great. It literally was liberating. It felt so freeing to not have to justify not playing him in a great spot. Didn't have to worry about ownership. He was in my shell from like Monday at 3 p.m. on all week. Never wavered, Dave. Never tinkered. It felt great.
go ahead and remind, because not everyone watches all 11 shows that you have. So go ahead and just remind people your results, your ROI, everything that you want there.
Yeah, I won a very nice percentage. I think I won almost 75% of my head-to-heads. My ROI wasn't as high as it could have been because I punted off 500 to Levitan and I lost my 200 and 3 of my 100s. So I got crushed with the cash game Sharks. But all the head-to-heads I was receiving on DraftKings over the week ended up being fairly soft. Shout out to the guy who rolled out AJ Green and Dolphins defense against me in one of the lineups.
Isn't that one of the great things about playing cash, though? Just laughing at the idiocy of the other person, whatever they do, like just like scoffing at them whenever you open up the game.
Yeah, it did feel great to feel mentally superior. And then I got to feel like an absolute idiot looking at all the Marvin Jones teams that were beating me after staring at him in every optimal lineup all week and not playing him.
Yeah, Davis, you got coffined by Nate Noling on Twitter, revealing some of the inside text messages.
Nate lost to me by 15 points. He was the one. He was the tweet was coming from inside the coffin, Dave.
Well, the tweet gathered a lot of attention, and I feel like
I'm really happy for Nate's first ever 43 fave tweet. Good for him.
All right. Well, do we want to build a lineup on DraftKings first for the Saturday slate?
Sounds like a blast.
And then we can talk about quarterbacks and everything else, and then go to FanDuel, and then we'll come back to Sunday.
This pricing is just so soft. I mean, you can really just play every stud you want. I mean, it's ridiculous.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to just going to put this outside the door because if I don't, I will eat it all. I will eat it all.
Go get some ice cream cake, dude.
Yeah, you got to wash that down, Dave.
Come on. Imagine not eating the ice cream cake.
Oh, it feels so good.
It's so good.
Kitchen, a Blizzard ice cream cake you're not eating? Oh my gosh, this guy. All right, let's build on for the Saturday slate on DK. Well, classic Dave. Devin, can we build our Saturday DK lineup without Dave? Okay. All right. I'm going to start it not with Josh Allen, who is going to be the sick, insane shock, but I'm going to go with one Mr. Thomas Brady, and I'm going to stack him with Robert Gronkowski.
Just FYI, I am tossing this in the $5 gigantic double up, so don't dupe me.
So
Please don't
dupe him, bro. Don't dupe him.
All right, Pete.
All right. So we have Brady to Gronk. I think we got to bring it back with Terry McLaurin. Please do check on inactives before the game. PSA.
Wow, not going with Logan Moss last week. What a run our guy Logan Thomas is on.
You want to play 2 tight ends on a 3-game slate? What a fish.
Please don't dupe me, bro.
I thought he was going to go JD McKissick personally.
Brady, Gronk, and then McLaurin, and then is that it?
Yeah, I'm gonna Cam Akers it.
All right.
Ooh. He's got the Q tag. You think he's okay?
I think he is just fine, yes.
Man. Davis, speaking of Akers, Kyler Murray, are you done with him?
I'm done with Cliff, though.
And Cliff, yeah.
Yeah. It's time for new leadership. You know, we've seen this country fractured for too long. It's time for someone new to lead the Arizona Cardinals to victory.
The people storming the Capitol have more of a vertical offense than Cliff does at this point.
This is correct. Yeah.
No, we can joke about that, but I definitely laughed. All right. Okay. So do we want to go with some mini correlation with Akers and feature?
Both Levitan and Kitchen becoming GPP bros in 2021, talking about mini correlations. You just absolutely love it.
I think it's really going to be tough to get correlation on a 3-game. So I think we should definitely focus on that.
I mean, I want to play DK Metcalf, but that matchup is
Davis. Are you worried?
I am scared of Jalen.
I legit am worried. Like what DK Metcalf's past 2 games.
Hey, dude, you want to go? You want to go full Galbrain, bro? They've Tyler Lockett's been eating. Tyler Lockett's been eating good. What if they put Ramsey on Lockett and then we got our boy DK running free?
I don't think that they're going to do that because
that's going to happen.
Lockett has had a few good games. I think they recognize the GAM status of DK Metcalf, but 6,900, stay true to the brand. That's nice. We'll add Lockett in there.
Should we revoke the GAM status for motivational purposes for this week?
Maybe
so he actually does something.
Tuttle, your voice is so soft today. It feels like you're leading one of my meditation exercises.
Can you get close to the mic?
Talk louder. I'll put it. Is this better?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be that hard to correlate on a 3-game slate.
I think the other issue that I'm having is I didn't use the Monster headphones today.
Mm.
And so I feel like that probably, and now I'm getting a call. These Monster headphones. So
it's a good show we got going on here, guys.
Yeah, anyways, let's keep building this team.
Anyone that tuned into the playoff show gets exactly what they deserve. All right, so we got Brady, Akers, McLaurin, Lockett, and Gronk. Peter, you're up.
Yeah, I think we get another pass catcher in here. Let's get AB.
You want AB over
this week?
You want AB over Godwin?
Do you think we can afford Godwin?
Yeah. In this Antonio Brown in this economy, everything goes up, Pete.
Dude, Tom Brady loves Antonio Brown more than David Kitchen loves Blizzard cakes from Dairy Queen.
He won't even eat it, bro.
Debatable. All right, so are we going with AB?
Yeah.
I really hope this Tampa Bay offense doesn't disappoint because this is the late night hammer. This is the late hammer that's going to get us to where we need to go. All right, Davis.
What do we have left here?
We have running back, flex, and defense with 4,900 left per player.
All right. I think we should go Nyheim Hines. He's a pretty good pivot off of our guy, Jonathan Taylor, who will be pretty chalky this week. And obviously is direct leverage on him since every snap that Hines takes means that Taylor's not going to take one.
I was thinking the other night, and I was too lazy to check it out. Within the past 2 years, didn't we have a playoff game where Nyheim Hines was supposed to, he was chalk? It was like the Colts were, they're supposed to throw behind the whole game, and he got none of the work.
This was last year.
The whole time.
This was last year.
I remember this.
I don't know if he was chalk, but he was chalk within our circle. Yeah. He was chalk within everyone that we knew.
DFS Twitter chalk for sure.
Well, that was a 2-game slate. So even more so tilting. All right. So Davis, what is your philosophy on rostering defenses on such a short slate? Do you not even care? Do you look for any sort of correlation on a 2 or 3 game slate? What's your build rules for defenses?
In MME, I basically let it fly. I'll make, so the way we have it set up in the Daily Roto Optimizer is it's just, defenses or players versus defense. And you can set it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I just move it all the way up, to 6. Cause I make sure that it doesn't matter in single entry and 3 max when you're hand building. Obviously you'd like to correlate it a little bit, but I wonder if Pete has thought about this at all. Do you think there's a little bit of please don't dupe me value in specifically non-correlating your defense, playing a defense against your running back, defense against your quarterback, stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. And Beimfor always writes the short slate IQs over at RotoGrinders, and the one thing he's been hammering
over at RotoGrinders
we're
over
on
our host show.
We're on our own YouTube channel. Yes. People might be flooding in watching this, never even heard of RotoGrinders. Subscribe to Core Premium. Anyways, one thing he's been hammering is playing the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end from the same team just because it's so underutilized relative to the amount it wins. So I think finding some negative correlations to tell the bros not to dupe you is definitely a good way to do it.
Buying for is great on those Slate IQ articles, by the way. Those are
Kitchen reads those every week religiously.
I mean, I do some of the branding for them, but they
some of the branding.
but as far
to say the pictures look great.
as far as the by the way, congrats to Eric for winning 40K last night. A Dame 3, I think, knocked him out of 100K, but those are
we got to keep Eric humble. That 3 is good for all of us.
And plus his wife is going to spend half of that at Target. So, all right. So the reason why I ask is because you could go Colts defense here, which would leave you enough salary to play Steph Diggs if you wanted to. So Tuttle, when you're rostering defenses, is it just basically if you roster defense, you hope that they get 1 pick 6? I mean, it just does not matter.
Yeah, on a short slate like this for sure. I think Tampa Bay defense is going to be chalky, so you just hope that they don't get the pick 6, and then it really doesn't matter all that much.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the quarterback discussion. Cash versus GPP, Davis.
I mean, Cash, you got to play Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen is 3 points better than every other quarterback on the slate, maybe more. Yeah, I don't know how you wouldn't play him. In tournaments, though, obviously, Brady, Russ, our guy, John Walford, 56 rushing yards in his first NFL start. I mean, I wouldn't build. In MME, I would not use any Phil Rivers, and I would not use any Alex Smith. But I think there are arguments to be made for the rest of the quarterbacks on the slate.
Peter,
are you asking if I'm going to play cash or GPPs this week?
I'm asking you as someone who has played successfully cash games and GPP games, what your strategies are for each.
Yeah, I've actually thought this through from both angles and how I'd like to approach this slate. I do think Josh Allen, just with all the value on the slate, you got to jam him in. And for GPPs, then every other quarterback that's not Josh Allen seems like he would be pretty good leverage is kind of how I'm thinking about it, Dave.
Yeah, because we don't even have Pone yet for Josh Allen, but I mean, how much you think he'll be rostered, Tuttle, off the top of your head?
I don't know. That's a tough question. Will he be over 50% on a 3-gamer?
I mean, that's
no.
Because
you're asking me,
40% range.
The only other QB that's going to pull from him is Russ, right?
Russ, right?
Yeah, and he's been complete trash.
So he's
but
probably
still, you're still looking to 5 to 10% at the other quarterbacks, so too. So I'd say 40%. Brady,
I feel like I just need to 150 Josh Allen and hope I get it right.
Allen 40%, Brady Wilson 20-ish%, and the other one's filling in.
All right, running backs.
Is Wolford the Galbrain play if Goff sits?
The problem is like, can he even really get 25? I don't know. It feels pretty thin. I mean, he had 56 rushing yards and 13 points last week. Like, I guess if he runs for a touchdown, then he can get to 25. But you got to think he's probably not drawing super live to the 300-yard bonus. Maybe if Kupp is activated off the COVID list and he's, Kupp gets 10 targets instead of Van Jefferson and Josh Reynolds, maybe you say it's a little bit better. Walford probably is the Galbrain play, especially if his projected ownership is 12 or something like that. I guess he probably is.
Because if you do the Wolford Galbrain play, I mean, you can jam every stud.
You can play the best,
especially on FanDuel, where the range is a lot less. I think he is 6,200, whereas Josh Allen's like 9K. But yeah, that also could just be lighting money on fire. Let's move to running backs. You mentioned Cam Akers, Tuttle. How would you put Cam Akers compared to Jay Taylor on this slate?
I mean, Taylor's obviously the better raw projection option, but Akers, I think, is probably – no, not probably. He is the best point per dollar, I think, on the slate. at the running back position. We saw that they really don't want to give Malcolm Brown any work. Akers was very questionable all week, ended up being active last week and handled 25 touches. They want to give him all the work possible, and he's going to get all the work he can handle. He saw 4 targets as well, some work in the passing game, and Brown's basically relegated to third down duties again. So yeah, I mean, Taylor,
Akers is a jam, I think.
Yeah. I think he's easily the top point per dollar. Taylor is the whole. I could see Taylor's a good play, and the matchup is better on the ground against Buffalo, right? So I could see making lineups, especially in Buffalo fades, where you play Taylor in those lineups because you're just hoping that the Colts basically keep the ball away from Buffalo. But yeah, point per dollar wise, it's Akers for sure.
That's my question about Taylor, is because we've seen his role just become absolutely massive, but it's also coincided with 2 positive game scripts against the Jags in Pittsburgh. So if they do get down 2 touchdowns to the Bills, are they still feeding him, or is it all Hines?
Well, I think you could argue a couple of different things. Like the first being, well, clearly their best chance is not turning this game into a shootout, right? Like they don't want this to be a high scoring game because Buffalo will just outpass them. They're so much better. So that, that gives them all the incentive possible to feed Taylor and try and keep it close and, eat time of possession. But then also you say, well, Taylor's going to be mega owned. And we already know if they're down 10 points, Nyheim Hines is playing. He will out snap and out target Jonathan Taylor. That does lead me to think that Nyheim Hines is the play. And it feels bad to say it, but that you want to kind of be underweight on Jonathan Taylor, or at least, match the field.
So Davis, as far as Rojo goes, last week they didn't get him to 1,000 yards. They wanted to play it a little bit safe with him, but he did come in and what do you have, 50 or 60 yards? I don't know. He beat his prop for the day. But
Kitchen,
what's your
such a sharp sports bettor these days?
What it was a sweat. What is your thoughts on Tampa Bay running backs this week?
I mean, like in a vacuum, you have to like Ronald Jones because he should have, great game script. He's priced down on DraftKings at 5,500, but Akers is better than him. Hines is probably better than him. Like Akers probably has more utility in either game script, right? Winning or losing, he's going to be involved. He probably will get a decent chunk of the goal line work. And, Jones still last week, even though he did lead the backfield in touches, he still only played 54% of the snaps, was not targeted in that win against Atlanta. They are still demanding to play Fournette for whatever reason.
Tuttle?
So a guy I think will probably get overlooked. He's really cheap on DraftKings. Devin Singletary.
Yeah.
We know Buffalo wants to pass, which is kind of he's the better pass catching back, or they've used him more as a pass catching back, I should say. The problem is Moss is going to get the goal line carries if Josh Allen doesn't get them. But Singletary is super cheap. He's a guy that could get 3 to 4 targets with a team that wants to throw the ball again. So I could see playing him in some lineups just to kind of try to work salary around a little bit to make the rest of your lineup fit. I don't think he's got a super high upside, but I think he has been pretty clearly playing in front of Moss when the games have been close these past couple of weeks. And then Moss kind of evens things out when they're milking the clock towards the end of the games.
Yeah. And Moss, correct me if I'm wrong, Davis, since you watched the all 22, but didn't Moss, whenever he had those 2 fumbles, I think it was against Pittsburgh, and the roles kind of reversed because it looked like he was going to be the RB1 there, and then he had those fumbles, and then Singletary came in and has been kind of the go-to guy ever since then.
Well, Moss actually has been the lead rusher over the last couple weeks before the week 17 game, 13, 12 rushes for him. But Singletary gets more of the good touches in this offense. So he over the last 3 weeks in the games that mattered, 7, 8, and 10 carries. Like Moss is going to get the first and second down carries, but Singletary is going to get passing downs. Singletary is going to be targeted more, and Singletary will probably get whatever goal line work is, not there for Josh Allen.
See, I think
Peter, clean up the
absolute reverse. So I think Singletary has been getting pretty much all the early down work. and third down work when the games have been close. Like if you go back and watch against Denver when they completely blew them out, I think Moss had probably like 8-9 of his carries in the fourth quarter, and pretty much the same thing against New England too. So that's why it looks like he's been the lead back, but he hasn't been used that way. And this is somebody that's been, because I know this because I've been playing Moss thinking that he would be an okay play. And then I just get really tilted until he finally starts getting carries in the fourth.
Peter, clean this up for us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to play either of them. I mean, the Bills just want to pass in all situations. So for like Moss to get there, you need 2 goal line touchdowns. For Singletary to get there, you probably need like a really sideways game script where he's catching a ton of checkdowns. So yeah, I think they both have nice floors. I just don't know where you find the ceiling with either of these guys.
Yeah. Seattle running back situation is a little gross. So let's go really quickly to the Washington running back situation, Peter. Let's game script this out. Let's say that Tampa Bay goes nuts. Where are we with the Washington running backs?
Yeah, I think people are going to definitely talk themselves into McKissick just from the game script standpoint. And it makes sense, but I still think Gibson is the guy there who can really explode, for 102 touchdowns there and win you a GPP. So I don't know if you need the 900, I guess for sure you can get down to McKissick, but I prefer to get up to Gibson. And my guess is with the Q tag, the quote unquote bad matchup, I think he'll probably be pretty under-owned.
All right, let's open FanDuel real quick and do a Saturday only slate. And while we do that, what are thoughts on the flex spot? Just wide receivers and tight ends, Davis?
Just wide receivers. Not my flex spot. No running backs for me on the Saturday slate, I don't think.
All right. So FanDuel, they got a nice little 3-game slate there. Feel free to enter this into the pooch punt if you want to, Peter.
Massive equity.
Are you guys going to play any of the 6-game slate stuff, or are the prize pools just so?
No.
Do we even have like
Evan Silva?
Do we even have like 5K to first? Like,
I would have been
so
people get very passionate about not having bigger prize pools for the 6-game slates.
I mean, if they had 10K to first, yeah, I would, but I'm not going to do it for like $600 to first. Like I get that on a Tuesday soccer slate.
We can just lament about how it used to be back in the day when you could sweat that second day. It was so nice. And now it's just like although having an extra game is good, is nice. Like people already think that, 2, like the playoff weekends are the best sports weekends. Having 3 games each day is nice for sure. So Dan, start us off.
Okay, I'm going to go unique with this one. And
Josh Allen.
No, I'm going to go with the Gibson Washington football team correlation.
Ooh, baby.
Okay.
The problem is Gibson looked like he was going to start getting more passing work, more third down work. What was that in Dallas way back when they played? And then he got injured, and they basically don't want to use him as a receiver. So if he's going to hit value, it's going to be with Washington playing with the lead.
Okay. Peter?
All right. Should we just continue jamming Cam Akers? I say we jam Cam Akers.
Yeah, sure. Davis?
What do we think the odds are that our guy Beasley plays? Because he will not be owned.
The team says he's week to week still. I think it's pretty bad.
We're going JB 5,700. John Brown.
Smokey Brown. All right.
You know what I just realized too? This Tampa Bay Washington is after Brady's bedtime.
I had seen some betting trends too of home dogs in the playoffs are normally extremely live historically. So I like this little Brady upset in Washington.
Well,
what kitchen?
You got a problem with this
a lot of upsets in Washington these days.
Yeah, a lot of people that are upset. As far as though the trends about home games, we don't have like any trends as far as home games without fans. So That's all I'm gonna say. All right. I'll put Josh Allen in there. I feel like we're already unique enough with the Gibson and Washington football thing. So Allen, Brown, Antonio Gibson, Akers. We got 2 receivers, a tight end, and a flex, Dan.
Let's just double stack with Diggs.
Boom. Diggs. I'll let you add in some correlation, Peter, if you want.
Oh, God, it is such a pleasure.
Oh,
When
yeah,
Dave
bring it
asked
back.
me to add a little correlation to the lineup, whew, gets
Bring
a little
it
hot
back,
over here.
baby.
Oh God. Now's a great time to bring out the age bias. Screw T.Y. Hilton. Let's throw Pittman in here.
Yeah, there we go. There we go, Pete. Do it for
He's,
do it for all of us out there who can't stomach T.Y. Hilton on a 3-game slate.
He's so cheap on DraftKings. Pittman
He is, yeah.
He's like 30.
Popping in the floor optimals.
All right. So if we do that, we've got a tight end and a flex, 77.50 left per person. Yeah, we can make this work. Davis?
Wait, how much do we have left?
We have 15.5 for 2 spots. So 77.50 per person.
Do we just go back to Gronk?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, let's do Gronk. Feel pretty good about Gronk cooking up some playoff magic with his old buddy Tom.
All right. And then we got plenty of salary we can leave whoever we go with. We can play Godwin. We can play Taylor, whoever you want there. Because you don't have to. A lot of people don't know this, Peter, but one of the GPP things is you don't have to make a lineup that is, close to $0 left.
It disgusts me. That's why I enjoyed playing cash games so much. I actually refused to submit a lineup that didn't use the full salary. It actually offended me in my base principles.
Yeah. So, and lineup HQ, you can also, if you go to build rules
over at RotoGrinders, right, Dave?
Yeah, it's over there at RotoGrinders.com. Lineup HQ, you can go to build roles and you can say your max offense versus defense, and you can set really you can set everything, but including salary constraints. So you could say, hey, I don't want anything over 58,000. I want all my builds to be under 58,000. And you could do that using lineup HQ over there at RotoGrinders. Shout out to RotoGrinders for sponsoring the show.
They got some great stuff over there.
They do. They really do. And some of the people that work there are just top notch.
The design on the site these days, I don't know who's behind that, but it stops me in my tracks every time I go over there.
Shout out
very creative.
Shout out to Alex Blundell. All right, let's go on to the Sunday slate. This is the slate that people are going to be really interested in, and that news could potentially help, hurt, however you want. It's basically how you predict the news. Like, how are you going to predict the news and script it out? Do you think that Stefanski matters at all? Do you think that offensive lineman matters at all? Kadero Hodge doesn't really matter at all, but other receivers there could. So Davis, what's your predicting the news? What is your initial thought on the Browns?
They're going to get smoked. Like no in-person practice. They almost got beat by the Steelers B team last week. They don't have their head coach. Like, just all of the, and people think the Steelers suck because they kind of do suck. So you kind of have like enough money staying in on the Browns that it's like the line's not going to swung, in any kind of crazy way. Yeah, the Browns are going to get smoked here.
Peter?
I'm not so, like, what makes you so confident? The Steelers have looked like absolute trash.
They've been great. Steelers have been great the past 5 weeks.
The one thing, did you see the Browns haven't even been able to get in their facility because of COVID stuff? They're practicing virtually today. So I don't know. I could see the Steelers at home. I don't know. I'm not so confident that the Browns are going to pull off an upset.
Tuttle?
On this slate, you just stack Baltimore and Pittsburgh and call it a day.
That's not even what we're talking about. We're talking about the Browns. What's your take on the Browns?
That the Pittsburgh, you just stack Pittsburgh
against
the Browns, obviously.
Obviously. All right.
I was tracking the conversation. The slate's easy.
Well-
You stack There's two. I mean, there's one just absolutely trash defense on the slate with Tennessee. So you just take all the Baltimore players, and then you take all the Pittsburgh players, and you call it a day.
It is. I'm having a hard time focusing. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a full DK Blizzard cake in Kitchen's freezer right
And
now.
it's not even been eaten. Why is this dude not eating the Blizzard cake?
My brain
I
is
never
everywhere.
agreed. Guys, listen, part of my transformation is the evolving self-discipline that I have compared to how I used to be. Where if a Blizzard just called my name, I would answer. But I gotta be smart. The dad bod depends on it. Dehimber is the mindset. So quarterbacks for the slate, Lamar Jackson over everyone, Davis.
I mean, Lamar is the best play, but if you're trying to generate yourself some Sklansky bucks, you want Tannehill fading Derrick Henry. You put yourself in a spot where we've already seen it happen a bunch of times this year. Tannehill can rack up 5 touchdowns, and obviously ownership is going to get more condensed. I guess the problem with that is on a 3-game slate, you're much more likely to get coffined by Derrick Henry only getting 21, because that can, at running back, like that can play in a way that it's not going to in a 10-game slate.
Okay, so here's the question: if you play Derrick Henry, can you play Lamar Jackson?
You shouldn't. Like, they're probably
Right.
the 2 most negatively correlated players of the slate. Well, unless that's not true, because I mean, we saw it happen last year with this playoff game, right?
Davis going back and forth with himself is why I asked this question.
So, yes, in the sense of, for Lamar to do well rushing, you don't, like, if Lamar has a really good rushing game, that probably precludes like a 250-yard, 2-touchdown game. But Lamar dropping back 52 times and throwing 3 touchdowns, getting the 300-yard passing bonus and getting some scrambles is obviously better with a big Henry game. I don't know, but I think that'll be a popular correlation, though, don't you think?
Peter?
Yeah, I think it's fine to use those two. They're just going to be so popular that you're going to have to find a pretty unique route around it. You are just giving up so many points if you don't play Lamar, that your lineup really needs to tell quite the story if you don't have him.
Really, these
Last year,
dusty
people's
QBs on the slate.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Like Drew Brees, like the Saints could put up 40 and Drew Brees could have like 14 points.
Yeah, I will be playing 0 Drew Brees teams for sure. I mean, Mitch is the DGAF play. Just hope that he gets up to 25 in garbage time, scrambles for a touchdown. And obviously I think that the Bears can beat the Saints, because I think Drew Brees is so dusty and bad.
Great comment in the chat here from Ted. David Skolansky used to be my next door neighbor.
That is a great comment. That is a great comment. Yeah.
So Baker is like the second lowest price quarterback. I mean, I think he's in play, right? Like the quarterbacks that are in play are Lamar, Tannehill, and Baker. No,
There's 2 quarterbacks in play.
just from the Baltimore Tennessee game.
Yeah.
But if Derrick Henry goes off, it could negate both of those quarterbacks. That's
projections wise, Davis? What you guys probably? I haven't looked at projections at all on the slate. What, Roethlisberger is probably the 3rd highest projected.
That's how Cardi has it.
Yeah, I don't even have ours up, but I would imagine that's the way, because it's just going to be so tied to team total.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to play Breeze or Roethlisberger. You just play Michael Thomas and Deontay Johnson and get all of their 3-yard targets just over and over on repeat.
Slant boy. All right, let's go to DraftKings lineup.
Is Michael Thomas going to be back, though? Like, open question.
Yeah. It's pretty confident.
If you listen to Silva, who never misses an opportunity to mention text he got from Nick Underhill, Nick is saying that Michael Thomas is going to be good to go.
I mean, that's just all mainstream reporting too, is that like Breeze is saying, like, we're happy to have Michael Thomas back for the playoffs.
I mean, the line is 10. I mean, that's a lot of points. And if Michael Thomas wasn't playing, I think that might not be the case. All right. DraftKings lineup. Peter, you start.
Wow, what an honor. Let's get funky. Let's play Tannehill. A little homage to Dave there.
All right. If we play Tannehill, let's just go ahead. Well, I'm going to pair him with Corey Davis. AJ Brown is a man. He is just a man. And Corey Davis had a good game last
You're
game,
making quite the case for Corey Davis over AJ
well,
Brown.
Here's the thing. Here it's building it up, and then here's the thing. AJ Brown's ankle is just it's like a pile of noodles. So that is like every game he goes down like with an ankle injury. I don't trust this. I do not trust that ankle for being the highest priced wide receiver on this slate. So
what about the 11 targets, 151 yards, and a touchdown?
No, that's good.
If you pause.
That's good. Like, can you imagine what he would do on a healthy ankle? That's what I would say to that. But like, he goes down every game with this ankle injury, and I just think that at some point, it's it's going to severely affect him. So I'm going to play Dr. Chow and say that Corey Davis is going to be the guy.
Do it.
Chow.
Oh, is this a dude Chow from you as well?
Our buddy Chris Jamino does all the projection stuff at RotoGrinders. He's a secret Jamino, or he's a secret Chow lover.
Really? There's a lot of them out there. The cocoon, the Chow cocoon is alive and well.
Davis and his coworker, I think. So
yeah, good guy.
Davis and Clay Travis are Eskimo bros on working with Dr. Chow.
Davis outkicked the coverage with his coworkers.
Love to see
All right,
it.
so we got Tannehill and Corey Davis. Tuttle, you go next.
Let's go Marquise Brown. You cheap.
5,400 Marquise Brown. Man, and the Titans defense is just non-existent.
It's so bad.
It is terrible.
So yeah, you print money this week. Tannehill, double stack, double bring back Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, and you just fade. Yep. You fade the big dog, and you just pray. You light some candles, you burn some sage, and you pray.
You go all Kyrie Irving on this lineup.
It's also the first game, so as you know, if you whatever you do in cash, Davis, you have two opportunities to swap. You have two separate swaptions.
You are such a GPP bro these days. Dave over here. I just want all the information early. I can make my leverage swaps late.
Swaptions also apply to cash games, Peter. I'm surprised you didn't learn this last week.
Oh, I did.
He did, bud. He learned firsthand.
Davis started spooking me into swapping like literally after Marvin Jones's first catch.
This is what Davis does. This is what Davis does.
Who was right though? Who was right?
All of my swaps were correct except one in a 109. I ended up making a bad swap.
Tuttle, what's the one thing? What's the one thing that Davis says every week in our secret chat?
We swapping, guys?
We swapping? Swapping question mark. That is the one thing he always comes in. Everyone will be talking about whatever else, and he'll just come in with, we swapping, guys?
And the answer, like 60% of the time, is yes.
It's like OG Mark Gindy wanting to win $1 million after the first touchdown pass. So, all right, Tannehill, Corey Davis, Brown, Andrews. Peter, you have anything else to add?
Yeah, didn't we say we're going to double stack? So we are going to throw AJ Brown in this.
Okay.
I know the ankle is made out of tortellini, but I'm just not scared, Dave.
Wait, so we have Tannehill, Corey Davis, Marquise Brown, AJ Brown, Mark Andrews. We're doing it?
Yes.
Yeah, you love to see it. And then the natural fit is then this lineup is very
natural fit to this lineup. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, then you play David Montgomery, and then you play which I mean, it depends on what happens with the Saints
defense.
running backs, right? Well, I mean, if there's only, I mean, do we play Ty Montgomery again?
No.
Kamara's
What are
good,
you
right?
worried about? Who are you worried about?
Well, is it Latavius? Is it like what? Because Kamara, I don't think is a lock to be back by Sunday.
I think he's pretty close to it.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be fine.
I think he's like 80% to be fine.
think he'd have-
He can make the timetable. It's just then a matter of if he tests positive again or not.
That's the beauty of this show. It's super evergreen. I mean, you guys can fire this thing up on Sunday morning and the takes will be just as good.
Yeah, I personally like giving opinions on, COVID news 4 days in advance. So let's talk more about Cleveland. Why don't we?
No, well, let's just play it this day because Davis is setting up. You're setting up a Chicago win in New Orleans from behind in an upset with the Montgomery play.
Montgomery, Kamara, Bears. And that gives us 2,800 in the flex. This sounds like a good team to me.
Ooh, 2,800 flex is that's like a Titans tight end. That's like the Titans onslaught.
Okay, this did get. Maybe we don't play Kamara.
This got away from us a little bit. Yeah.
What if we play Michael Thomas, and then what did that leaves us 5,000, so that we could play Connor. Although I hate using all my salary in a GPP line.
I mean, that's like, dude, that's
like
literally
saying,
please dupe me, bro. Please dupe me.
That's a good lineup. Very nice. All right, we talked about
James Conner. Nobody.
We talked about
right there, though.
We talked about quarterbacks. Let's game script. We've talked about Derrick Henry. He's obviously a must play in cash games, right, Tuttle?
No.
You want to expand on that?
You said David Montgomery is a must play in cash games?
No, the big dog.
The big
dog.
D Himber.
No.
Okay.
Not must play. No.
The show is electric today.
I'm not saying he's a must play.
All right. So as far
All right, well, no, hold on. There is a key thing we got to talk about with running back for the Sunday slate, which is
welcome back
in
from
MME,
Twitter, Davis.
in MME, do you just not play Nick Chubb at all because he's going to be way more owned than his likelihood of showing up in optimals?
I think you have to create stories with these MME stuff. So you correlate like your Chubb with your Browns defense. I think you want to create some Pittsburgh stacks with Hunt, thinking that he might get the passing game work as well. But Chubb is not a must play for sure.
I feel like you're starting to repeat stuff from your 12-hour DFS masterclass audiobook series, Kitchen.
I like to correlate my Chubb too.
I wrote that book. So.
I know. I mean, it's just like, why am I going to buy the cow when I can get the milk for free on the Swolecast, you know?
Play wherever you want. Tuttle, what's your thoughts on Pittsburgh running backs? You've always had a pretty nice beat on them.
It's so ugly. It's so ugly. Just take their pass catchers. I mean, Connor might like scoot in for a touchdown, but even if he scores a touchdown, what's the likelihood that he ends up in an optimal lineup?
Yeah. Is there any other pass catching running backs that you like, Davis?
On the Sunday slate, I mean, it would be Hunt theoretically, but they really haven't even used him like that. Like he is like the third down back. But I mean, I guess his best game did come back against Baltimore, which would set up theoretically similarly to this. But I don't know. I mean, like James Conner is probably a better play in that same game script because he has more touchdown upside than Hunt does. I don't know. The Sunday slate, it feels so much is up in the air right now. Like we could just be saying shit that's completely meaningless if COVID breaks.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's like that's the whole Swolecast motto. Peter, running backs for Baltimore.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up. Yeah, I mean Dobbins had the massive day, but still had similar amount of carries. Is Gus? I'm interested in both of these guys, though. I think Gus's price point is super nice. If he falls into the end zone twice, you're cooking. And Dobbins has the upside that we've seen to rip off some long ones. And I assume at 6,600, people aren't gonna be prioritizing him. He feels like the Antonio Gibson on this slate that has the upside, but will probably go overlooked.
Okay, let's go to wide receiver and talk about some big play receivers, some slate breaking wide receivers. Davis, who do you have?
Well, I mean, obviously, our guy AJB is the best one. It's just he was going to be like the chalkiest chalk. Marquise Brown looks pretty strong. I think pin the tail on the Steelers wide receivers is probably the key to whoever wins 100K on Sunday. If it's Claypool again, if it's Deontay, if it's Juju, my guess is that it's probably Juju, just because he has the best role. Like Juju just has the best role regardless of it seems like Deontay and Claypool's playing time just ends up to being more variable. But then you go look at Deontay's game logs and you're like, shit, how many times has he gotten 17 targets in a game? I don't know. I mean, maybe the rule that you do in MME is just min one Steelers wide receiver.
Now we're back to a classic show.
I think that's a bad rule though, right?
Why would that be a bad rule?
These guys do so much of their production just on receiving, like the actual reception. They
Davis
get a point per actual reception. Like their ceiling, it's not one guy eating up everything. It's that the targets get spread around.
But they all have spiked weeks. All of them have 25 plus point weeks.
Yeah. So why would you? Deontay is the constant, right? So why would you want to?
Well, he's the constant unless he gets benched.
Yeah,
Are you projecting him getting benched this week, Davis?
No, but he has had more and Claypool's had a lot of variability in his playing time too. The only one who is 100% constant is Juju.
Claypool's the one that's been. I don't look at last week's snaps because the game was meaningless. But Claypool, the prior 2 weeks, was the guy that was losing snaps to James Washington. They sat Deontay, that first half in Buffalo, and then they're like, well, he's the only guy that he drops a lot, but he's the only guy that Ben actually likes throwing to. So then they kept playing him, and then it was Claypool that was losing the field time. I don't think you should limit two of the receivers is basically what I'm saying.
Well, and Davis, you talked about the Pittsburgh wide receivers, but what about Baltimore wide receivers? I mean, if you're not targeting this Titans defense with something, you're doing it wrong because they are historically bad.
They are very bad. I do kind of want Tennessee to win this game so that we get Kansas City versus Tennessee, because then that's the peak David Kitchen versus Davis Mattek game, and and Mahomes hangs up like a 60 burger in the playoffs.
What if D Himber? You want that because Kitchen gets that much closer.
No, let me tell you this. The biggest bet I made in all of 2020 was on the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Tennessee Titans. I bet my entire offshore sports betting account on the Chiefs money line, and I never once had a droplet of sweat.
You did the first quarter, but then it wasn't.
Did you get Sammy Reed to bet you Steelers versus Chiefs too?
And Michael Leone bet me Buccaneers versus Chiefs.
Wow. Davis getting it in good.
Yeah, boy.
Well, the Chiefs lost to the Raiders, and people lost their minds, bro.
All right, well, let's go back to the Baltimore pass catchers. You mentioned, obviously Andrews, obviously Brown, but also Boykin. Boykin got a touchdown pass last week. I feel like Boykin's the guy that could potentially break the slate with 2 long touchdown catches.
Wait, did you say Miles Boykin?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a Galbrain tout right.
It's not
here.
a Galbrain. Who are the receivers?
These defenses.
Who are the receivers? Yeah, who are the receivers for Baltimore? Unless you're going to throw up the X and play Dez or Duvernay.
I'm not saying it as an insult, but you have to admit, Miles Boykin is a Galbrain play on this slate.
It is not it's a GPP play. You play to win the slate.
I
Is
know.
Miles-
I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying own up to the fact that it's a Galbraith play.
I
Isn't
said
Des
slate
Bryant
breaking
the better,
wide receivers.
Isn't Des Bryant the better Galbraith play because they just use him like a tight end and try and throw him touchdowns?
I mean,
Can he move?
well, I guess he did get
He's-
4 catches for 28 yards the last time they played Tennessee.
Oh, he's got a touchdown in the past 2 weeks. It's ugly if you look at their routes run, Baltimore's routes run after Andrews and Marquise Brown. It gets ugly fast. They basically just rotate everybody else.
Yeah. All right. Any interest in Cleveland wide receivers?
I don't mind Jarvis.
No, I mind him. I don't know. I will not be playing him in any of my single
You want
entry
me
or
to-
3 max contests.
You want me to send you a head-to-head with Jarvis Landry in it?
Please don't scoop me, bro.
This is okay. I am so tilting about this because the 109 I beat was against Ryan Hodge, and I mentioned it on my review show, and he got mad and immediately sent me a 109 for the full 6-game slate. So of course I had to accept it, but now I have to do cash game research on Saturday for the 6-game slate for 109. So if anyone wants to send me head-to-heads again, might as well run it back because I'm gonna have to research it for that one. There you go.
That is the ultimate cash game tilt, is when you think a fish beats you in a head-to-head game, and so you send them an invite for another cash game. All right.
Okay, right back in.
Peoples Jones got a concussion last week. You've got Kadero Hodge, who is not going to be playing because of COVID stuff. So you got Landry, you've got Hooper, and then Higgins, I guess, would be the other guy if you wanted to go down that route. Filling that old Odell role. All right, let's build a FanDuel lineup and then we can get out of here.
Just can't wait for the Browns to be out of my life. Does anyone else have that same relief of just that great? I'm glad you make the playoffs, but I don't want to talk about your team anymore.
No, are you kidding me? If the Browns win this game, the more the Browns win, the better off it gets, because people's hopes and their the underdog story and everything else. I'm rooting for the Browns this week.
Day, I will say, last year, with D Hember cooking up, you were just all over the Titans. I haven't felt any sense of fandom.
Because he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming and he's backing off.
You
when you have a historically bad defense, you can look forward to. Well, first of all, last year was more of a surprise. This year, it's more of the standard. Remember last year, every week I would say Derrick Henry, and every week Davis would laugh at me. And then every week, except for the last week, he would be crying a puddle of tears for not playing Derrick Henry. That was fun. This year, Davis actually agrees that Derrick Henry is a man, and it's going to be tough fading him. So that takes a little bit of the fun out of it.
The head-to-heads are already flowing in.
Oh, man. All right. So we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about Peter saying that Derrick Henry was not an alpha running back in best ball stuff. We're just going to move on to FanDuel, the Sunday lineup. And Davis, start with you.
Well, I guess we go with TBD, the big dog. You got to, I think, on FanDuel. I don't know how you don't play Derrick Henry.
10.2. Actually, no. Is that his salary? I'm on the 6-game slate. There is a nice little tournament for him on the 6 games. All right, Sunday Main, FanDuel.com. All right, Derrick Henry, Tuttle, you're next.
Let us go with Deontay.
Okay. You love Deontay on FanDuel.
I do.
And I'm here. I am here for it. Derrick Henry, Deontay, Peter, you're up.
Yeah, let's go with the guy that may or may not be negatively correlated with Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson.
Can't make up my mind.
Davis was like the gif of the woman who tastes
kombucha lady.
Yeah,
Oh,
kombucha girl.
Really got my mind in a pretzel still. I still don't know how I feel.
All right. So Lamar, Dehember, Deontay. Ooh. I'm just, man. All right. Let's go with, let's get funky with it. Shall we? Let's go wide receiver. Looking right now at the projections over there on RotoGrinders.
FanDuel, sort by dollars per point.
Yeah, definitely sort by dollars per point.
Average points.
Let's put Higgins in there. Let's get a little mini correlation. He's 5,500. Let's put him in there. I was gonna do Chubb, but then it's just too easy. All right. And plus, we don't have all the salary in the world after going Lamar and Derrick Henry. So Tuttle, you're back up. Actually, no, Davis is back up.
Well, I'll fill in our second running back slot with James Conner. Little mini correlation with Higgins there.
Okay. Tuttle?
Hollywood Brown. We'll make this the Hollywood team. And we'll take Brown.
That's not even a mini correlation. That's just a big old correlation right there.
That's
okay.
Chubb right there.
All right. 5,100 per player, tight end flex defense. Peter?
Am I going to be able to afford Mark Andrews? Or no, let's do it. Let's do the Galaxy Brain play. That's not a Galaxy Brain play. Miles Boykin. For you, Kitch.
At 5K.
You're so proud of yourself with that price tag. Oh, yeah. Great play and affordable.
All right.
Kitchen, will you eat ice cream before we leave, bro?
It's downstairs in the. Actually, it's in the refrigerator. I can't even. I have spot. I've got all my freezer meals.
Well, you got to eat it. You got to eat it before it melts, kid.
I know. It's what I'm saying. I got to put it in the freezer. This thing is huge. It's a $35 cake. Imagine.
Well, I hope that gets you. I hope
10 people, and I said no. This is just for one.
All right. Let's do. Should we do Cole Kmet? And then we're left with 5,200 left for defense.
Yeah, it sounds like we don't have to do Cole Kmet.
Well, I mean, the tight end options. Let's say we go Bears defense, the second cheapest defense, then the tight end option 6,800, and that gets us nobody. That gets us Jared Cook. So I don't.
EIO Tuttle.
That's what I was gonna say. Are we gonna get an EIO slate?
No, I think what we should do. 5,200. It's January season, even though he hasn't been getting.
When is the last time Jonnu caught a pass?
Yeah, even though he's not been getting much love. Tight ends are just too good.
You gotta play. Yeah, they're too good. They never catch any passes. They're too good.
No, but they're all good, so they all like vulture each other. It's just like,
oh yeah,
pick your poison, opposing defenses. All right, Tuttle, you got a terrible take for us?
I mean, now it might be EIEIO. I haven't done my Eric Ebron research, but
okay.
I actually do have a terrible take for Saturday's slate, though.
Okay,
let's hear it.
Lock in Gerald Everett. Call today.
Boom. Ooh. Little 12 personnel action, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go with Davis. Final thoughts?
I mean, I hope that we get more information on the Sunday slate. I'm pretty excited.
I bet we won't, Davis.
I'm pretty excited to just run 150 Bills double stacks on Saturday, and also very excited for at least one of the Steelers wide receivers to show up in the 100K, or what's first place on DK on Sunday? Probably 100K, maybe 500K.
150.
Yeah, who knows? But I know that one of the Steelers wide receivers will be in there.
Pete, closing thoughts.
Stay safe, be good to each other, and enjoy DFS, the greatest distraction of all.
I will just say again, thank you for everyone that has commented, liked on my personal weight loss journey into peak dad bodhood. Love to you all. Love to everyone, even that want to see me fail. You know, there are people out there that want to see me fail. They want to see me go into back in old habits. It's not going to happen. So appreciate the gathering of positivity. Make sure you like the Swolecast. Hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next week, maybe here on the Swolecast over there at RotoGrinders.com.